I am the person behind this production, Ildikó Nyári, and it is about immigration, poverty, work permit, and social progress. Last week I came across a few very interesting presentations on YouTube, and I spent a whole day reviewing them. And it has somehow made a click in my mind to translate it to our environment, social and political affairs. And so I made this presentation to put forward a thought to consider. All of them are greatly inspiring people. So here it is. First, about immigration. I deeply believe that there is no such thing as immigration. It is the product of past political and economical establishments that served the need, and served it well, of the elite and influential in power to hold working classes under their arms and wings for political and economic gains. If I were writing a book, then I could say, today, people should wake up and grab the sword of opportunities to bring down the walls of protectionism everywhere they go, to celebrate humanism, to celebrate business opportunities, to celebrate human innovations and the undeniable authors of human creativity. People should have the right, the basic right, to live and work wherever they choose to in the world. Yes, I do believe that people should have the basic right to stand up and move if they experience situations in which they cannot be held hostage of people in power for their own interest. People should have the basic rights to say they do not wish to live and work for interests they do not share. In other words, to be prisoners of people in power, the modern slavery. Yes, I do believe that freedom of movement is part of the basic human rights and cannot be separated from other freedoms, and should be part of a major concept called in the freedom of capital movement, so viable in today's global world. Today, people can move very easily from one place to another. If you think about the transportation system today in the 21st century, the world is so connected that the modern transportation system wrapping around the globe is ever more integrated, providing opportunities for companies to open up operations more easily. The capital flow around the world is moving in seconds and milliseconds. So why not labor? What is wrong with the free labor movement? Why governments do not allow free labor movements? I do believe that people should be able to move freely around the globe to find better ROI, return on investment, potential for their investment of labor. Having said that, it would create competition between governments or government policies, which could come as a breeze for all the ill-fated issues of today. Assuming that all people can move freely, countries can have very strong border control, which is a big issue in today's American politics. They will know everything who is coming in or leaving, but all people can move in or out freely and all registered. If anyone, also today's citizens, commit major crimes, could be asked to move out. Then some people may raise the red flag about large movements of labor into a few countries, but consider this, it is only temporary. The markets, according to the underlying economic supply and demand theory, will adjust shocks in quantity of labor demanded and supplied, just the way it is done between states in the US. No one requires a Californian immigrant to naturalize in New York, and without such naturalization, she would not be able to work in New York, at least not as a professional, just only as a cleaning lady or construction worker, perhaps. In such a situation of free movement of labor, think about countries as economic and legal zones. So the next is work permits. Once people moved and should be able to move freely, then all should have the basic fundamental right to work at his/her full potential. It is absolutely nonsense to eradicate or limit their rights to work. Today, these people are only allowed to contribute to the economy at a very minimum level as a cleaning lady or construction worker, when they could create million times more value. What is in capitalism that makes this nonsense valuable? Nothing. It is all politics. It is all policy-driven rules that go back to centuries of tradition. Well, today it should be abolished. Having said that, what is the value of a work permit today, anywhere in the world? Nothing. It is zero. Today, US citizens are automatically eligible to work, and immigrants are not. It is a policy-driven rule. Yet, most Americans do not want to work, and they do not work. They threw their legal work permits, into the garbage bins. It is something beyond belief, again. And immigrants wish to work are not allowed to work. They are only allowed to contribute a value to the economy that is equal of a cleaning lady or construction worker. This is nonsense. I do believe that the world today requires a significant reform on labor movements and work permits on the basis of fundamental human rights. Work permit should have a value, should have a price tag on it. Everybody, citizens and non-citizens who want to work, would have to purchase a work permit to be able to work at his/her full potential and to contribute to the economy of his/her wish, meaning that, yes, US citizens would also have to purchase work permits in the US if they wish to work, providing an opportunity for everything to be documented and registered, especially with regards to linking it to pooling social benefits, which is a big question. And in case one do not feel getting the ROI, return on investment, or social benefit for their labor as they expected, would have the full rights to move to another economic and legal zone to invest their labor in. This can only happen when governments compete on a global stage to get the best and brightest in any subject matter of that competence and interest, instead of people being the property of a government and promoting protectionism and moral licensing of hatred. So then we arrive to the social progress. How do we measure and how can we see the outcome? Once the above-mentioned criteria are fulfilled, I do believe that poverty will be no longer an issue or a minor issue, not such a big issue as it is today. Education will come along with free movement of labor and rights to work at his or her full potential. Because, again, I do believe that people should not be a property of any government. They should have the ability to exercise free will. It is a fundamental rights issue and not a property issue, and because it is only an identification matter where they live and work, like blood type A and B, and not a property matter. So let's make a progress together. Special thanks for Paul Polman, Hal Schultz, Malcolm Gladwell, Philip Kotler, Michael Porter, Clayton Christensen, and many more for their influence. Thank you. And thank you for your interest.